Hello, everyone. Welcome to my art room. I'm Danae. I'm so glad that you're here to join me today. I'm going to be working on my self appointed Color Cube 500 challenge, which is to paint each of the cards in the color cube. So today is card number 2, and these colors are beautiful, but way outside my normal range of color palette. So I've traded the chocolate for this bronze. It's a deep brown, but it's kind of a bronzy color. I like it much better than the chocolate. This is an Arteza paint. I think it's really close to mustard. For clay, I've chosen to use this yellow ochre. It's not quite the right color, but it's close. And this is cactus green. It's a very good match for hunter green. And this last one I think is a really nice color. It's Violet de Mars. And it's quite a dark burgundy. So these are the colors I have closest matching this palette, and I'm nervous going into this because this is not my normal color palette. And so I'm going to do this little this is color palette 1 that I've already done. So here's for color palette 2. I'm going to use this little sketchbook. It's just 4x6, so I don't have to make something really big. I'm just going to cheat and make a nice small one because this color palette makes me nervous. So I'm adding white acrylic paint over the top of those Neocolor 2 crayons, and it's just going to help the color sort of stay in place because those are water soluble. So here, this is something I like to do with my color palettes. I'm mixing all of the colors together. And then I'm going to add white to it because all of those colors mixed together make a lovely gray. And I really love this gray actually. The color is so beautiful. And so I start with it because I'm really excited about it. It's very neutral and it's a blend of all those colors, which means it's going to harmonize now with all of those colors. But then I start feeling guilty because gray isn't technically on the color palette. So I'm going in with this dark, this is the Violet de Mars. It's very dark color. And as I add the paint, I'm also adding some of that mixed paint. And it's going to help all of the colors just harmonize. And here I add way too much of that dark color and I lose all of my yellow. And it is an ugly, ugly color. So I scratch that out right away and add just the yellow on its own. Yellow is not one of my favorite colors to paint with. In fact, I kind of am very nervous about it. I often try to use it and I often cover it up. But I really loved this yellow. It's very bright. Where all these other colors are very dark, that yellow is just beautiful, bright, and brilliant. And this is the bronze. And I keep scratching into some circles that I've made there into the paint with the back of my paintbrush. Because the colors are so dark, I keep trying to add, kind of lighter versions of the colors to bring some lightness to this little space. So it doesn't just turn out dark, dark, dark. I love mixing colors and seeing what colors I create. Um, Sometimes it's quite a surprise to see what the colors do once they're mixed. Here I'm using a palette knife just to scrape some paint on. I love using this technique because it keeps the paint really loose. And since these are abstract, um, I kind of like the wild and rough look that that loose paint creates. And I'm going back to that gray, the colors mixed together, and then the white. I just really love this color. It's a nice light contrast, although I keep reminding myself as I'm painting that it's actually sort of a cheat color because it's not explicitly in the palette, but clearly I keep choosing it. And I mixed some of that bronze with white, and it was not a pretty color. So I'm just gonna, I scraped it out and I'm gonna put it straight bronze on there. The great thing about working with acrylic paints is that they're so forgiving. They're so easy to use. If you put a mark down that you don't like, then you just can cover it up once it's dry, or you can wipe it out when it's wet. They're very, very forgiving. So I'm going to use this stencil. I was feeling uninspired by what I had created and thought maybe I needed some more specific marks. And so I'm going to try this little circle and star, see if I like it. And I do, but it does seem out of place. So I'm just going to add some of the surrounding marks as well. And I think it turns really interesting. Throughout this process, the color palette was a challenge to me just because it was outside of my comfort zone. And I went back again to that gray, which is technically not in the palette, but it's such a pretty color. I just really love it. And so now I'm just debating if I want to add some more and if I want it to be the same or different. I'm going to fuss a bit with these colors to see what color I like. And I keep trying to add some more of this yellow and I keep mixing it in and the yellow just gets lost. This yellow, the Arteza paint is very transparent, translucent. So it turned out too green and I missed having the yellow. So here's what I'm talking about. I just sprayed some water on the marks I just created and I'm going to wipe them right off. So very easy, and then you can paint right over it. So I'm just bringing that yellow back. Considering how often I try to use yellow and fail at it, I was really happy with the fact that I wanted to continue to add yellow. So I just let myself go and do as much yellow as I wanted. And there's a lot of green on that brush, and I don't want green, I want yellow. So I'm wiping it off, and here I go. I'm trying again. And it's a no again. So try and fail, try and fail. And I put the bronze. I was, starting to wipe off some of the other color. I put the bronze, and then I wanted more yellow, but I failed to clean my brush. So now I have my clean brush, and I'm going back in again. I just love that the yellow is so bright, and it lightens up these dark colors really nicely. Everything else is muted and the yellow is just really bright, and I was drawn towards that. Here I'm just using that green to add back in some of the green squares that have been painted over. And so I'm nearly done. This is just pencil. I'm drawing into the dried paint. The great thing about pencil is it is erasable. If you put a mark down that you don't like it. And I'm scratching in. As I scratch in, some of this paint scratches off, which is really cool. I didn't necessarily realize that would happen. It was a happy accident. So you can see some of the layers underneath now. And that's it. I'm calling it. It was a fun little experiment. This is probably not a palette I will gravitate towards in the future, but it was fun to challenge myself and to see what the results are. I'm not unhappy with it. And so thanks for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh, I'm going to bring the color card back in so we can see how did I do? How close did I get? It's not bad. That gray really stands out. When you look at the color card, the gray is definitely not part of that color card. Thanks for joining me today. I hope that you have fun with your own experiments and your own painting projects and art projects, and I'll talk to you soon. If you want some more creative ideas, these videos might just be the spark you're looking for, and I will see you soon.